DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning and welcome to INCRadio, Washington, D.C. Satellite Studio. I'm Sister Lara J. Evangelista. Today is Saturday, July 6th, and we are talking about our recent Unity Games esports activity. We also have a special guest joining us today. Would you mind kicking us off with an introduction this morning?
Hey, morning, everyone. My name is Brother Gian. I'm from the locale of Bowie. I was one of the participants at the Unity Games esports activity and actually one of the players for the Valorant tournament as well.
Good morning, Brother Gian. Thank you so much for that introduction. And yes, that I heard that was such a fun tournament to watch. And I know that over the past couple of weeks, we've been discussing, the traditional Unity Games activities inside the church, like with the competitions in volleyball and basketball. But I think it might be some of our first time hearing about esports. So would you be able to share a little bit about what exactly esports is and what it entails?
Yeah, exactly. It's like traditional sports, not in the aspect of it being physical. It's more computer games, but it is still competitive in that aspect.
Right. And I think we've had activities like this in the past, but it was like very, very, very long time ago. So when you heard about the new or the esports activity that happened this year, how did you first feel when you first heard about it?
I think more than anything, it was excitement. Really, this was, yeah, like you said, first time in a really long time where we had an esports activity or activity regarding video games, and yeah, excitement was my first reaction.
That's so awesome. And I'm sure like the other brethren who were there, and all the other, gamer enthusiast brethren in the church were also felt the same way. We're super excited for this activity. So I'm curious to know, how long have you been a gamer or how did you start gaming?
I think it all started with mobile gaming, really. Some of the most popular mobile games I still play to this day. 10 years ago when I first got my phone, then, one thing leads to another. You go to uh, consoles, right? And then your friends start playing other games, and then next thing you know, you're building a PC, right?
Oh my goodness. That sounds like a very time intensive hobby. But it also sounds like, you get to use it to connect with your friends, especially virtually or when you're at a distance from them and you live kind of far away from them. So you said you've been playing for 10 years and you mentioned building, a whole setup. So do you have your whole setup already at home?
Yeah, if we had more time, I would show you all. But yeah, I'm actually in my setup right now. Uh,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness. That's awesome. And did you actually end up building a PC?
yeah, I did. I did. I think one of the best memories that I've had were building it with my friends. Yeah.
That sounds really fun. Did you end up bringing that PC with you to the tournament? Like, did you use
Yeah,
your PC?
yeah. I have
That's
a
awesome.
particular setup, and I like things a certain way. So yeah, I had to use my own setup there.
Yeah, and I'm sure that contributed to you and your team taking home the Valorant championship, didn't it? So
Yeah.
congratulations to your team and knowing that we're talking to one of the championship team members this morning. Would you be able to tell us more about the game that you played and the concept of it? Like what are the main objectives and roles in the game
Yeah.
Valorant?
For sure, for sure. Valorant is what's considered a TAC FPS or a tactical first-person shooter, and requires a lot of technical and tactical. You use your keyboard and make sure you out aim the other person. The main objectives, there's two sides: attacker and defender. Attackers, they typically their main objective is planting what's called a spike, or in other games, it's called a bomb. And then you plant it at the site and then wait until it detonates. For the defenders, of course, you defend the side and make sure that attackers don't get what they want.
That sounds really. You said it's like it's a team game, so you're not just playing by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, well that sounds really fun. And speaking of the team that you play with, the championship team, how was your team actually formed? Did you guys, come up with? Did you create the team when you first heard about the activity, or was it like on the spot on the day of?
I think the core of us was made. We usually play together most of the time. We have a group in church where we play with a group of us, and I think it wasn't really anything that we made up on the spot. It was like, okay, all right, this is our time, everyone, time to get together. I know some of us weren't able to go, unfortunately, so we just had to add some people here and there that we knew were pretty good.
That's great. And like I know you mentioned you played with your friends a lot over the past, 10 years. So was your team actually made up of the people that you have been playing with every single day for
Yeah,
like.
I think for the most part, there was like one or two that we had it here, added here and there, but yeah, for the most part, it was usually the guys we play with every day.
So that's awesome. I mean, since you guys already do it every day, it's like you don't even need to practice.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just ready to take home the championship. You're ready to like just
Yeah,
get in on the day of and
we had
take
no.
it home. That's awesome. So how would you say that, the dynamic was or like the energy was between you and the rest of your team members while the game was happening?
I think it was very high energy. I think everyone was just excited to be there. This being our first time actually, playing next to each other. I think one of the best parts about esports is when you play next to your teammates and you fist bump after each round, after each win. So yeah, I think it was very high energy. Yeah.
And like what would you say is the main difference between, when you because you're used to playing when you're just connected over, over a call or over, a voice channel or something like that. But how would you describe the difference in the dynamic playing in person? Like you're literally sitting all together. I know they were showing pictures earlier and you're just sitting together at one big table.
Yeah, no, good question. Yeah, it's a little bit different because you see the mannerisms of your teammates, when something doesn't go your way and you see that, they get a bit down and, when you're there next to them physically, you can be like, yeah, it's okay. Everything is okay. We can get through this.
Oh, yeah, and you're able to just you kind of help them lift their spirits and encourage them and help them look forward, right? I know we talked about that in last week's broadcast we were talking about how, failure is a choice and you just as long as you get up again, it's another chance to be a victor, be a champion, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. And so, I mean, you mentioned, you learn about their mannerisms and, how your team members maybe react to things not going their way. But did you also kind of get to see new strengths in any of your team members during in-person gameplay?
Oh yeah, for sure. I was able to see how they react regarding certain situations. I was able to see, what goes through their head and how they look physically instead of just behind a voice chat when certain things come up, and that definitely helps with the chemistry.
Right. And also, I'm also curious. Did you learn anything about yourself during in-person gameplay or seeing or when you're playing this, this game that you play for your leisure, right? Like after work, after school, whatever it is you may be doing during the day, right? You usually just go home and you relax, you play your game, right? But now you're doing it on a tournament level, did you in front of an audience, did you learn anything about yourself during that experience?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things I learned was just to have fun. So sometimes it gets really serious, but when you're there in person and you look around, there's so many people. It's the best thing you can do is just have fun. Make the most of the moment. Yeah.
Right. And I hope that you did have fun, you and your whole championship team. I hope you guys had all the fun in the world. I'm also wondering, have you ever done something like this before?
No, this is actually the first time, and that's why I was really glad and excited when it was first announced because yeah, this is first time for all of us, even for my teammates. Yeah,
That sounds amazing. I'm glad that your first experience with competitive video games was at a Unity Games activity, and I hope
exactly.
that yeah, I hope that you're able to bring maybe your friends to other activities like that in the future. But did you have any highlights or any favorite parts of the activity?
I mean, like you've been mentioning, I think winning the championship was a very big highlight for us. Even though I wasn't able to be there for the trophy lift, the group sent me a picture of them lifting the trophy, and that's the highlight for me.
That's amazing. Well, I'm glad that you were able to still connect with them and enjoy that victory moment with them, that victory lap. Did you have any main takeaways from this activity, like with your team and how you guys work together and whatnot?
Yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, just having fun. Just make sure that don't take things too seriously, um, and yeah, hopefully we have another activity like this soon.
Awesome. And if we have an activity or when we have activities like this in the future, maybe there are some brethren, some of our younger brethren who were inspired by watching, the cool people play, the cool gamers play during this esports activity. Maybe they want to start getting into gaming and whatnot. So, do you have any advice or any suggestions for anyone who's never touched a game before, like me? But maybe wants to get started, being involved in a community like that.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things is just with anything really, just get started. Start small. Start with the popular games, and then talk to your fellow brethren in the locale and ask if they play the same games as well as in the district. I know a lot of people here in the district play a lot of different games, so just asking around and yeah, I'm sure that there's already an existing community for a specific game, and I'm sure they're willing to bring you in with open arms.
That's amazing. I feel so encouraged. I might start talking to people about learning how to play
Yeah.
a game or something. Well, thank you so, so, so much, Brother Gian, for joining us on the show this morning. And before we let you go, do you have any special greetings that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out the locale of Bowie. Shout out to our resident mister, Brother Danny. Also, shout out to my parents. I wouldn't be here without you.
Thank you so, so much, Brother Gian. And with that, let's check out some of the greetings in the YouTube chat. So, Kadani actually says, "Good morning to all. Happy watching from the local congregation of Bowie." So, he heard you, Brother Gian. Brother Harold Melchor says, "Good morning, poor brother and sister. Greetings from Waldorf, Maryland." Lloyd Flaunt Leroy Averion says, "Happy watching po from lokal ng San Isidro Callahan, San Pablo City, Laguna District." Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Christina Lazaro says, "Shout out to my son, Gian Lazaro." He did such a great job on the show today. Brother Brian Torres says, "Happy 17th of the month. Happy 17th month to our baby Win. Happy 17th month." And okay, so let's see. We asked in the chat, what's your favorite video game to play? So if you haven't answered any questions, definitely pop them in the chat for a chance to be featured in the show this morning. Sister Liza Mojica says, "I love Tetris. I also love Tetris. I think I played Mario Kart during the esports activity. I was just helping test the equipment, but it was super fun." And then Brother Joshua Luke 2 says, "Video games actually taught me that I love being part of a team, strategizing, being part of a team, everyone having a role, and trusting each other to deliver, just like the locale of Quantico." Wow, I hope we have a bunch of Quantico audience members this morning because Brother Josh is really proud of you guys. Okay. How often do you guys play video games? Sister Grace Galarpe says, "I don't play, but I like to stay updated on what's going on. I just simply watch." Brother Brian Torres says, "I play whenever I get a chance, which is rarely." Let's see. We have so much Time to banter with everyone in the comments. And ooh, Brother Marvin says Brother Gian Lazaro is one of the coolest gamers I know. Do you know Brother Marvin, Brother Gian?
Yeah, I do, brother Marvin. Yeah,
Was he a part of your team during the Unity Games esports?
unfortunately not. He's not that good. No, I'm just kidding. He's he wasn't there in the activity. But yeah, he's one of my closest friends.
Is he one of the people that you play with on a regular basis?
I'd say so. Yeah, yeah. We play.
That's awesome. And do you have any of your, let's see, um, do you have any shout outs to anyone else from the championship team?
Oh yeah! Shout out to my entire team. Lauren, um, JP, Nico, Janik, and Percy. That was the winning team.
So it sounds like your team had a bunch of people from different locales.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, where are all of them from?
All over the district, from Virginia all the way up to, I think I'm the farthest.
Fredericksburg?
Yeah, Fredericksburg. Yeah, yeah.
That's so
We're,
cool.
we're all over the place.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. We also asked in the chat, do you prefer single player or multiplayer games? And someone says, I like single player because I don't want to fail my team. We also asked, what genre of games do you enjoy playing? Brother Brian says, I love to play sports games like football and basketball. I also like to play like the active sports games on those like interactive consoles where you can play
Oh
like
yeah.
tennis and volleyball. I think that's a really good way to get into things when you're doing it from an entry level standpoint, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I saw some brethren who were really competitive at the volleyball, the switch volleyball. Yeah, that was fun for sure.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And now for our CFO in action and unstoppable highlights, let's check out our recent district activities.
On Sunday, June 30, 6 unstoppable families in the District of Washington, D.C. tested their knowledge of the Pasugo, or God's Message magazines. With questions of varying difficulties, the brethren enjoyed participating alongside the competing teams and testing their knowledge of the church history. On Sunday, June 30, students and families across the District of Washington, D.C. traveled to Temple Hills for a CBI, or Christian Brotherhood International, special gathering. Through a special lesson prepared by the church administration, the brethren learned the importance of gaining knowledge, pursuing education, and most of all, the wisdom that comes from our Almighty God.
Awesome. And for our upcoming activities, on July 27, we will be having a neighborhood appreciation activity. And on July 28th, we also have the 110th in concert, which will be in Virginia this year. So we're super excited for that and hope to see everyone there. And for next week, let's check out what's happening on INCRadio, Washington, D.C.
Just get a new job, or have you been with a company for some time now? Building a future can look different for everybody. Hear the advice and experience from our panelists on INCRadio Washington, D.C. this Saturday, July 13, 2024 at 9 p.m. as we discuss career development, navigating career stages. See you there!
Following us today is INCRadio Florida at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And for their unstoppable support, we'd like to thank our INCRadio Washington, D.C. family for supporting our broadcast, especially to our SEBSI president, Brother Angelo Manolo, and of course, a very special greeting to our executive minister of the Church of Christ, Brother Eduardo V. Manolo. Thank you so much for tuning in to INC Radio, Washington, D.C. Satellite Studio. Stay unstoppable.